I'm going to put you on the spot, and Rachel, you can sit there and listen, and we can do a short little happy birthday to join in to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rachel. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
You're all tuning out right now because we're terrible singers, probably, but Rachel is celebrating her 11th year in recovery.
Yes, thank you. That was so sweet. Thank you.
See, I remembered.
I was like, who are we singing to?
we didn't rehearse this, or obviously we didn't rehearse it, but so Rachel didn't know we were going to sing to her, but I happen to know that you've recently had your recovery birthday. So
yeah, thank you.
And
that means a lot.
People don't realize that may not sound like a big deal to somebody who doesn't understand addiction, but 11 years is a long time.
It is. From my experience, we have to work on this every day, or I have to work on it every day. And so I've been doing it for 11 years and I'm still doing the same things. And so it does take a lot of work. It's way more rewarding, but there is a lot of work that goes into it. So being recognized, and it also empowers me like, hey, I can do this. I am worth it. And
I think most people in recovery do recognize their birthdays. I think, and what you may not understand is Rachel is still an addict in recovery. I am an alcoholic in recovery, and it's a lifelong, complicated disease that's never going to go away. So, if you happen to dabble in the stuff again, you would instantly probably start. It'd be a severe thing.
Yeah, I think like the more recovery time you have, the different types of challenges you have. So today mine's more emotional. I have to work on my spirituality or my emotional, or eventually I will end up back there because that's a solution to my problems in my head is going to be the heroin, right? And I know that it's not. And so if I don't keep these other things in check, that's exactly where I'm going to end up again.
So now we'll start out with our real intro and say, welcome to another edition of Odyssey House Journals. I'm Randall Carlisle, along with Rachel Santizo, my co-host. And our guest today is Morghan Farrer. Welcome.
Welcome, Morghan.
See, you didn't know you were going to have to sing right off the beginning either, did you?
You know what? Surprises are always fun.
Oh, yeah, I like
There's
that.
a good way to look at it. Morghan was recommended for this podcast by a therapist in our CATS program, which is a program that Odyssey House runs in the Salt Lake County Jail.
Yes.
And you are a proud graduate of that program.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
So, and how we'll celebrate your birthday too. How long?
In May will be 2 years.
All right. That's a big
Congrats.
deal.
It is a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So tell us a little about how we'll get into the good part about what you're doing now and everything, but let's just talk about how your addiction began and the long and winding road you took.
Okay, so started at 13 drinking, very, very heavily at 13.
That's when I started.
Yeah, that's right.
Gee,
So
we're brothers in alcohol at 13. Okay.
So, just 13, I had some trauma when I was younger that I didn't cope with, didn't know how to cope with it. And as soon as I found substance at that age, like it was just like perfect. Like that's my release. That's what I want to do to help me not care about that, to just kind of ease that pain I felt inside.
It made life okay, or it seemed like it.
It made it easier to survive.
Okay,
as I like to classify it, because I didn't feel like I was living. I was just surviving at those times for a long time, just trying to make it by, just anything to get through the day, and basically anything that came my way, like, all right, you got it, I want it, let's do it. Like that's kind of how my attitude was. The only thing I didn't dabble in was heroin, because I had seen how it's affected some of the people in my life, some of my family members. So that one scared me enough to keep me away seeing it in person. So
isn't that strange how how people in addiction look at various substances. You know, heroin scared you. You liked heroin,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
before you did the needle, you were cautious about that too, weren't you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's also interesting when you're on the streets and using, you get judged for the different drugs you use or the way that you use drugs.
Oh, you're only
Meth.
Yeah.
You only use meth or like heroin because I use the needle, and so people that smoked heroin judged me because I use the needle.
You're bad.
Yeah, so it's so
You're
interesting.
hardcore.
Can never win.
So okay, so you stayed away from heroin, but not anything else.
Nope. And anything and everything else that came in contact with me, I was going to do it. And I lived that lifestyle all the way up until I was 29.
So 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can still do math.
I know. I'm
even
glad
though
you
I
did
destroyed
it.
some brain cells with my booze. But,
Ah, that took me a minute.
So at 29, what happened?
I went to jail for the fifth or sixth time.
On what charges?
So I am obviously a felon. So any kind of weapons, I went to jail for weapons charges.
Okay.
I was one of those people that carried a weapon with me, doing bad things,
Yeah.
making bad choices, hurting people, doing stuff like that. Just wanting to scorch the earth after, just how I felt inside. Like I was mad, really hateful person for a long time, and like just wanted to scorch the earth anywhere I went. That's what I wanted to do.
Why were you so angry?
Just with some things that I've had to go through. When I was really young, my mom was wrongly convicted and she went to prison. I lost my mom. So at 3 years old,
Whoa.
my whole world turned upside down. And it really shook me. I didn't know how to cope with something like that. Carried that one.
So you hated the system already.
Yeah, I
right?
absolutely hated the system. Didn't believe in it. And then get into my 20s, I get with a girl. Accidentally get her pregnant, and she decides to abort the child against what I wanted. She did me dirty. We went behind my back after we had discussed co-parenting, and we had decided that. And she just did what she felt was right without, consideration to me. And that hurt. That one hurt me really, really bad. And that's when I really went off the deep end.
So you wanted to be a dad at that time, or
no,
you were willing to be.
I was
a dad.
willing to. I really was for her choice, all the way up until it was in my life and it was in my lap. Like, here you go. How are you gonna handle that? And I remember I spent hours talking myself into like, no, you got to be a good person. You got to do the right thing. Like, you can't be that guy. And I felt like it blew up in my face. So I was mad. I wanted to scorch the earth after that.
So you were angry at the system for what happened to your mom, at your girlfriend for getting an abortion, and you just kept going for a while?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a long time. Because I think that's when I got into meth really heavy. Like everyday user kind of person that carries an ounce in their pocket and a pipe and a lighter, like anywhere they went, work, family stuff, so I always had my escape route in my pocket.
How? I would because if you always have like an ounce in your pocket and you always, because I would run out and withdraw, but if you were out there doing that, like how did you always stay up?
Crime. I had or go to work. Functioning addict, as they call it.
Yeah.
You can function and go to work, but you don't function mentally. You don't function emotionally. Yeah. So like it's easy to get up and just go to a dead end job. I used to work in a print shop and print T-shirts, and that's just as simple as pushing a button and loading a shirt. And that's as long as you just show up, you get a paycheck, and that's how I kept my addiction handled.
Oh, so good. So you're going through this, and then so you hate the system, but now you're in the system repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
What shifted, or what changed, or what did that feel like?
The first couple times, I went in. They failed to file on me, so I got lucky, got out. And I immediately went home, got high. Just just went right back into it. Like you get out of the pool, nice little break, then you jump headfirst right back in.
Yeah, you're like, I'm invincible.
You know,
That's how I would go.
and
Paperwork error.
yeah.
Jeez.
And then, you know, when after that, I went on the run. So then I couldn't really work. So that's when the crime starts coming in. Spent 5 years on the run from federal marshals.
Wow.
Dang, that's a good run.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a good run. It was just, you know,
You must have been elusive.
no, if you know they're looking for you, you just don't take unnecessary risk. But, you know, at the end of the day, I had to make a choice on whether I wanted to go handle it or if I was going to keep living this lifestyle. And, you know, my mom kind of talked me into it. My sweet mother, I love that woman. She really, really supported and loved me through it. You know, she didn't force nothing on me because I think she knew, like, if I wasn't ready to do it, it's not going to happen.
Is she out by this time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she got out when I was 7. So if she's been around for a minute, it was just me taking it personal and not dealing with it. You know, she moved fine. Oh, she moved past everything just fine. She's been clean for 30-something years. You know,
Wow.
she's a real trooper. And you know, I remember one of the last conversations we had before I decided. Like, I was just screaming at my mom, just giving it to her because I was mad and I was high and just I'm a mess. And she just, you know, I love you. It's gonna be all right. Okay. And so I get myself turned in. And
Voluntarily.
yeah, you know, and
What'd you say when that's scary. You just walked into.
well, I had been on the run for so long that I actually had to personally call my judge because my case had changed judges. My judge had retired. I had to personally call her on her phone and get on her docket.
And what'd you say to her? I want to.
I'm like, I need to get on your docket. You know, this is what I need to do. And you know, she was skeptical, but she put me on the docket. And then after that, you just go into the jail. Obviously, I have outstanding warrants. It's pretty easy to get booked in.
Yeah, right. Prove to us that you should be in jail.
Yeah. So I do 4 months. They tell me I need to go to treatment, and I got out, and I'm just like head first right back into it because I really wasn't ready to get clean. So you know, I'm obviously on probation for 18 months, unsuccessful. Still getting high every day, but I go and check in at least. You know,
Didn't your UAs come up dirty?
I didn't take them. I just told them I was going to be dirty.
Oh,
And they gave me enough wiggle room that I did 18 months, just being honest. Eventually my PO said, no, you're not doing anything for yourself. It's time to go back. So he violates me. Of course, you know, he searches my car. There's a bunch of new charges because of everything I have in there. My judge is not happy. She gave me the chance to get it together on my own. And I basically just crumpled that up and threw that away. And so now it's time to do it her way. So she puts me in jail, gives me 8 months total time. Plus she wants a CAT certificate. You know, and I'm upset, you know, sitting in jail for 8 months. It's not fun. What am I doing? This doesn't work, you know? And my mom gave me the greatest advice for me at the time that I needed. She said, don't let your time be for nothing. You know, if you're going to have to do it, make sure you do something with your time. And I thought, okay. And so I gave it a chance. I gave treatment a chance. And when I went into CATS, like,
explain to our listeners and viewers what CATS is.
Correction Addiction Treatment Services. So when you are in jail, it is a correctional program for addiction treatment.
Okay. And you're in your own pod. You're not in general population. You're in your own pod with other people in the CATS program, which is run by Odyssey House. And it's basically sort of like Odyssey's residential program, except you can't leave.
Yeah, it's
Right?
3 months mini Odyssey
Yeah.
House.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead. I didn't.
I get in there and, I'm emotionally and mentally, I'm lost. I'm still stuck in the past with all my trauma and things I'm holding on to. And, of course that affects you mentally as a person. Like I didn't feel worth it. I felt like I couldn't be loved. Like, I just wasn't worthy of anything like that. Even though, I had love, I had people that loved me and I knew that, but I didn't feel like I was worthy of any of that. So I get to CATS, and the unconditional love that I was given by those facilitators helped me move forward with my life. Taking those baby steps, just having someone stand beside me through that journey is what gave me enough hope and motivation to get going.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all it took, is the feeling of somebody caring and loving.
Well, no. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into recovery, but that was enough to help me.
So you weren't just
to
totally compliant, saying, "Oh, okay, I'm fine now." Okay.
No, it's not that easy. If it was that easy, it wouldn't be worth it. It wouldn't be as worth it to people, But they helped me find my own path through this. They helped just stand beside me and give me some guidance, put some wind in my sails, and we're here if you need us. And it was great. Finding my own pathway through this has made my recovery mean so much to me. And I just, so I got into helping others. So that's why I ended up going to 7th Street. I'm working on getting my peer support specialist right now.
So you're working at 7th Street.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Which is another treatment facility. And so when you completed CATS, which is a 3-month program, did you automatically get out then, or what happened?
I had to sit and wait. My judge was very nice and let me sit and wait. She took like a month to sign my certificate.
Well, she did it her way.
That humility.
Yep.
I did it my way.
And but it was all right because it gave me some extra time in there to make sure I was ready. Because you get out, you walk down that ramp, and you're free. Like I can go dip right back into what I was doing if I choose to. And I went back to general population for about a month, and people think jail is very locked down, but there's drugs in jail. So I get back to general population, and first cell I go into, hey man, you just finished CATS. You wanna celebrate? And I'm like,
horrible.
And that was my choice. My drug of choice was right there in front of me. And I told him no. I told him thanks, but no. Because I wanted to try something different because what I was doing wasn't working.
Good for you.
When you walked down that ramp, like what was the different feeling? What made you go right instead of left this time? Like you've been going left so many times. Like what was that thought?
For me, it was my mom. We've already been through so much between me doing my thing and what she had to go through. And I didn't want to keep doing that to my mom. And that was enough to like give me that motivation. Like, let's try something different. Because this obviously doesn't work. I know this circle
right
in and out. Like I know how it goes. I know exactly what I need to do to make it in this circle, but I don't like this.
So what did you do to change that circle? Because now, so you did the program and now you're starting completely over. Like, how did you stay connected or get into 7th Street? Like what shifted for you?
So 7th Street was what I wanted to do before I was sentenced to CATS.
Okay.
I thought like, I'm going to be sly. I'm going to just pick my own treatment center. She'll send me because I have it lined up. And it didn't work out. She told me, you can go there when you're done. You can go. She gave me that option. She said, you can go to your treatment center when you're done with what I want you to do. And I thought, okay. And of course, CATS, they wanted me to go to Odyssey, but something in me just wanted to go to 7th Street. And I think it's the way that they do things over there. They're a real tight knit community, and that's what I needed at the time. It's something just guided me there. I don't know how to explain it. Intuition, God, I needed to be there. That's what I needed at my time in my recovery. I needed connection. I needed to learn how to love people and be loved, because I had spent my whole life in hate.
So when you left, you continued on treatment. You went to
I
Summit
did.
Street at first for treatment.
Mm-hmm. So
Inpatient or outpatient?
inpatient.
Okay.
And now
And-
you're working there.
Mhm. So I did inpatient and outpatient at 7th Street, and now yes, I work there as night staff.
Nice.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Talk about, Rachel and I talk about this all the time. And I think most people in recovery would agree that giving back or providing service or whatever is really important. How does that affect you in terms of keeping you on the right path?
Well, I know how hard it is to be where they're at. It's not. I know the suffering that they're feeling internally, and I want people to know that there's hope. They like, if you put your mind to it, you can get through it. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be work. You have to put in the work,
And you have to want it.
and you have to want it. I mean, you can white knuckle it. People do. I see it all the time.
Sure.
People white knuckle through because they're court ordered. But I think the big thing that it boils down to is people are scared of something they don't know. When you're in this kind of lifestyle for so long, like, you don't know anything about living a normal life or functioning normally. Like, you can get up and go to work, but you can't. Like, how do you know how to process things in a healthy way? Do you know how to healthily handle certain situations? Like, it's a big thing to overcome.
Sure.
So you have to put in the work for that. You have to want it, but you got to have people there to give you that hope, I feel like. And I just want people to find what I found and know that it is achievable no matter how bad it is.
One of the person who recommended you for this podcast, I love her. You must love her too.
I absolutely adore that woman.
It's Leanne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've had her on a podcast before. And she spoke so highly of you. And it shows how, like, connection with someone in a program, it can be CATS, it can be 7th Street, doesn't matter, but connection like that makes a difference to somebody in recovery.
Makes a huge difference. When you feel like you're at rock bottom, you feel like you don't have anybody, you don't have anything. A lot of us in recovery, including myself, have burned a lot of bridges. We've burned.
No kidding.
Yeah, burned a lot of bridges, burned a lot of people by our choices and our actions.
Yeah.
Having that feels unobtainable for a lot of people after what we've chosen to do. But it is obtainable. You have to make that change and show up for the people and show up for the ones that are going to show up for you. And you can build stuff. There are possibilities of rebuilding things.
How's your relationship with your mom?
I love my mom. She's.
I'm sure she'll be watching or listening to
Absolutely,
this.
absolutely.
And saying, that's my son.
Yeah. It took some work to repair things, being consistent, sticking to your guns about the change and just showing people. Some people want to see some time, you can say I'm changed, but you got to prove it. And
So other people believe you because you may have said that a million times.
Mhm.
And this seems like a love conquers all. Like, people showing up and consistently showing up and showing you love. It's like when you do the parents group, the family group, like
Yeah.
what approach helped, and it feels like love conquers all in your story. That's what it feels like.
I agree. I think love is the center of my story, with conquering, with what I needed to learn, how I
For yourself,
for
for
myself.
like
Yeah.
all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I love that.
And I can say my mom loved me the whole time I was a functional alcoholic, but she's so happy that I've been in recovery. And then that makes me feel good because I made my mom feel good.
Yep.
I mean, it's like a circular
Yep.
thing of love,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's a great feeling. I wouldn't give up what I've gained from my recovery. And I think that's what helps keep me sober, because that giving up what I've gained, just I can't fathom doing something like that.
The strength you showed when you got out of CATS and had to go back into general population, and somebody offers you meth right there, and you say no. That was that incredibly hard, or was it easy?
I thought it was going to be hard, but I think when you really deep down make that choice that you're done, it's fairly simple.
I have a random question.
Absolutely.
What is something that you do for yourself? So you've been around and in recovery,
Mhm.
and you work in recovery. So what's something personally, like who are you now that you found yourself?
I struggled with that for a while. When I did have some thoughts of relapse and stuff, what's my purpose? What am I doing? I get through all my treatment, and I'm like, well, now what?
Great question.
It's a question you're going to have to face. And I was super blessed that I had gotten through it. I get to pick whatever I want to be. So that's why I chose, I want to get into employment in recovery. I want to help others find what I found. And I just want to rebuild my life. So that's kind of where I started rebuilding my life. I got with a nice girl after about a year of being out, started building that life, getting a house, getting a job. So what I do to take care of myself is, I try not to take things home with me that are work related. It's hard to split that world off, but
Sure.
I think you come to the realization, I can't save anybody. The only thing I can do is stand beside them and, give them some wind in their sails, get them pumped and send them out. And if, and I see it, I have people come back from 7th Street that I was in treatment with. We were in the same groups, going through the same program, and now I'm working there, and I see them come back. People I've seen off once or twice, they come back, and I get to have really good conversations. Okay, well, what didn't work? What did work? What are we going to do different this time? How can we get you motivated again? So,
Well, I'm really proud of you. You replaced this lifetime of hatred for love. And that's incredible. That's an entire shift. It's like letting your guard down and showing the pain so that now you can love. And it sounds like you give a lot.
One of the points of this podcast really is to provide, if you have someone you love who's dealing with addiction, or you are, or even if you're not, and you're just curious to understand how it works, is that there's always hope.
Right?
I mean, unless you're dead, there's always hope, right?
yeah, there's always hope.
Somebody at the point, like say in your mid-20s, when you were so angry and doing all the crap you were doing, I'm sure there were people who said, he's incorrigible. There's no hope for this guy.
Oh yeah, I had some people very dear to me give up on me for a long time, and that was a hard pill to swallow, and that just kind of when you realize it and you're in your addiction, that just feeds that fire to you, just all right, well,
I'm useless.
Yeah,
nobody loves me. I might as well.
But those people I have good relationships with today.
That's great.
Yeah, it is. It takes work from both people, but things are rebuildable. And I feel like when you're genuine and you have some integrity and you really buckle down, things are rebuildable.
You've done a great job with that. You did a great job on the podcast as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I
sharing
appreciate
your
it.
story of love.
Yeah.
I guess we could call it that.
Yeah, this is
Something to
definitely-
always remember. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Happy birthday, Rachel.
Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you for watching another edition of Odyssey House Journals.